So I am sorry, I did forget one thing, and it was staring me right in the face. I just blew through this slide a bit too fast. It's called out of bounds accesses. So if you have an array, it has a certain size, you can read past the end of that size accidentally or on purpose, and bad things happen. Bad things can happen. No matter what, weird things will happen. So if you try to read past the end of an array, and this is happening here because the array indices go between 0, 1, and 2. And here, this for loop is going between I equals 0, 1, 2, and including 3. So if you read past the end of an array, you'll get undefined behavior. Usually, your program has access to the memory, so you won't get a runtime error. But you should not, but things will go weird and wrong. Like you'll get weird values and setting them, setting these indices, setting invalid indices might cause weird errors that are hard to track down and debug. So make sure you're always never doing this where you're trying to access past the end of an array, like 1, 2, 3, 4. If you try to access this index right here, it doesn't exist. It's just random memory contents. Okay, that's the idea. And let me show you that with a quick example. So let me make for you like a very small example of reading past the end of an array, and then also one that will cause a runtime error. So here's our array. 1, 2, 3. Let's array of index 3. Uh-oh. Array errors, I guess. Error.cpp. Or mistake, I'm not sure. Make cd lecture 7. Make array error. I don't know, it's even warning me, but it's still going to compile. Good job, compiler. So this is the random memory value that was there. You can actually usually like keep going. Like let's make a loop actually. So int for int I equals 0, I is less than or equal to 3 again. I plus plus, cout array I, new line. Uh-oh, when I is greater than or equal to 3. So again, this will do the same thing. It'll print out what we expect, and then that weird value of the array. We can actually keep going, probably. We still have access to this memory in our program, but eventually we won't. Like here are the other random memory values. They have weird stuff to do. It's probably like a return location, like random values of argc and argv, something like that. That's what you're trying to access right now. Weird stuff is happening. You can actually keep going. Eventually you're going to run out of memory addresses that you can actually access. When I gets large enough, you'll run out of, let's actually figure out which I it was for us. There are I. You'll run out of, here, let me rephrase this. When I gets large enough, you will eventually not have access to that memory address in your program. Like you have that memory in your computer, it just belongs to another program maybe, and they're not allowed to share memory unless you allow that in a certain way. And it's not by default. So if I gets large enough, eventually we're gonna not just read some weird values, but we're gonna get a special error. And it looks like we were able to go to index 12,000, but 2001, that causes this error. You'll get a runtime error when you try to access memory that doesn't belong to you. And the name of that error is a scary word called segmentation fault. More on that in a future lecture on pointers. So I have a feeling that this is all I wanted to talk about, but there very well could be a part 3 if I forgot another thing. But hopefully that's all. So yeah, watch out for your array indices, and I will see you next time.